Right now, the Singapore International Film Festival celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, and it's with a dynamic selection of over 90 films from 40 countries.
It starts tomorrow and will run until the 1st of December. The festival will be held across various venues, including Capitol Theatre and the National Gallery Singapore. And joining us tonight is Yuni Hadi, Executive Director of the Singapore International Film Festival, and Shoki the Director of the short film Adam, which will be shown at the festival. Shoki, we'll come to you shortly. Yuni, I've got to get your thoughts first. Celebrating its 30th year, it's quite a milestone.
Yeah. I always say, it's an amazing feat for us to be here. Let's imagine a time where we don't have our own film festival, we don't have our own arts festival. What would that be? So we have a great appreciation for being here. But it also means that we've grown a lot with the Singapore film industry and where cinema is today. We see our films all over the world now.
Well, you did say imagine a world without the film festival, but may I ask you then, what is the relevance of film festivals or theatre and all that in today's society?
Yeah, for me, I'm a mother of 3, and I think that arts and culture is really important to for us to build perspective. And it's just like, if you were a person who only ate like one type of food every day, it'd be great, you can sustain, but then you'll be all the richer to be able to experience lots of things and different dimensions of things in life. I think that's really what we want as a person. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of sort of exploring different things, and let's talk about one of the movies showcased, Adam. Shoki, tell us about it. We understand that it features a young boy that's sort of caught between 2 different identities.
Yeah, so the film is about this young child who is growing up in Singapore, and his parents are divorced. So he's trying to figure out, which side of his family does he belong in. And this film deals a little bit about identity as well. So both sides of the parents, they're of different races. So for me personally, it was the inspiration came from growing up in a mixed race family. So my mom is from Japan and my dad is Chinese. And so growing up, I always had this question about identity, and also I also spoke to a lot of people regarding their own experience growing up, and also this notion of identity in Singapore, because it is kind of in Singapore, it's quite binary, this notion of our race, and also wanted to question that with this film.
Well, I asked Yuni the question about the significance of the festival, to our country and society. But what about to you as a filmmaker? How important is it that we have such festivals?
So for me as a filmmaker, it's really fantastic that we have such a film festival, because ultimately as filmmakers, we need a platform for our film, especially independent filmmakers, for a film to be shown to audiences. And something like the Singapore International Film Festival, which has grown to be such a prominent film festival in not just in Singapore, but in Southeast Asia and in Asia as well. So it's a great platform for filmmakers like myself to have the chance to, have films that are curated and screened and reach out to local audiences.
Yeah, this film festival, Yuni, it opens tomorrow with a Singaporean film, A Wet Season. Tell us about sort of how Singaporean films have sort of started getting a bit more sort of noticed in the last few years internationally.
Filmmakers have, they all start with short films, so that's how you discover the new voice. And Anthony Chen was who directed Wet Seasons. It was the same for him. So our platform as a festival is to discover new voices and help create sort of a pathway for them, spotlight them. And for us to open with a Singapore film on our 30th anniversary, where, it's something maybe we couldn't do 30 years ago, it really means that we've come a long way as a film festival, but also as a cinema industry.
Well, I'm sure you curated it with such care, but as somebody visiting the festival who might not be able to see everything, what would you advise?
Can't ask for a
I know it's hard, but would you prioritize anything, or what would you highlight to us as a viewer,
our great passion is to be able to celebrate stories from Southeast Asia and from Singapore. So I think that's a great place to start. We have, of course, the Singapore Panorama section, where we have loads of documentaries this year. And also we have a special focus on Vietnam. and also our Southeast Asian short films.
Yeah.
So I think like that's a great place to start. And then, you know, we have a great app on our website where you can sort of select films based on maybe countries or your mood even. And sort of it's a fun way to interact and discover new films. And then I always say, like, look at the storyline, what attracts you, and then sort of go for it and be adventurous.
Yeah.
Okay. And Shoki, one last quick word from you as a filmmaker. What's next? You're excited about this. What do you want people to take away from it?
So I wish if everyone has the chance to definitely come down to the film festival. I think growing up in Singapore, we always our diet of films are mainly a lot of blockbuster Hollywood films. So I think it's very nice to have exposure to different kinds of film, especially films curated in the film festival. You get exposed to a lot of films that you wouldn't usually see, and I think that's very important for the audiences to experience that.
Yeah, well, we hope they do go and check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming down and sharing it all with us. We've been speaking with Yuni Hadi, Executive Director of the Singapore International Film Festival, and Shoki Lin, the Director of the short film Adam.